Jacob, long time no see. How have you been?
Andy, oh boy, I've been getting my team ready for the upcoming cricket season.
Jacob, are you like the Ted Lasso of cricket? Are you trying to whip the team into shape?
Andy, oh boy, you have no idea. The personalities of these players are all over the map. They all want to be stars, but they each need to be more anonymous.
Anonymous?
Yes, anonymous. They need to be more team players and not standouts. Andy, I just don't know how to make them change.
Well, Jacob, today Taylor and Mary Manning are going to tell us about a guy who had a big change in his life. He went from being a bully to everyone to becoming a really nice and faithful guy. Let's listen.
Hello.
Hello. We're glad to be here on this lovely day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels a lot better outside, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What season are we in right now?
Spring.
Spring, and it has just changed, right? We were just in winter, and now we have changed into the springtime. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the changing of the seasons. So we're going to see how something else changes today. Ready? What color do I have?
Yellow.
Okay. My color yellow. And then, let's see. I think I did that right. What's going to happen?
When we use red.
They said to use crayons, but it's what color?
It's turning orange.
It's turning orange. That's right.
Just like in the fall.
Yeah, just like in the fall. That's right. So yellow and red together makes orange. It changes, right? Well, that's what our story's about today. It's about somebody that changes. Have you ever changed before? Like, think about when you were a baby. Are you different than you were when you were a baby?
Uh-huh.
How are you different?
I'm bigger.
You're bigger.
And I have more hair.
And you have more hair. Anything else?
I have bigger hands.
Yes. Everything about you is bigger, right? You can talk. You can eat with a fork. Right?
Yeah, you change.
You change. That's right. That you do. And this story today is about somebody that changes. He starts off as a bully. Do you know anybody that's a bully? You might not. So it's somebody that's not very kind, right? Right? But guess what happens? What do you think he's going to change into?
Not a bully.
Not a bully. All right. It's called Saul to Paul. Saul to Paul. Saul was what did I say he was?
Bully.
A bully. And he hated anyone who was a Christian. Saul wanted all Christians thrown in jail. But God had other plans for Saul. Even though Saul was a mean person, God loved him and had a big surprise for him. Saul had been ordered to go to Damascus. He smiled slyly at himself. If any Christians lived in Damascus, he would find them, he would arrest them, and bring them back to Jerusalem. Saul smiled confidently. He had arrested Christians 100 times before, and he could do it again. Suddenly, swirls of dust blew up from the road, and Saul covered his eyes with his arms. "Storm's coming," he shouted to his men. Crash, flash, kabash! Saul fell to the ground. A blinding light exploded all around him, and a strong voice spoke to him. "Saul, Saul, why do you hurt me?" Saul rubbed his eyes. He couldn't see anyone. "Who are you?" Saul stuttered. "I am Jesus," the voice said. "I am not dead. I am very much alive, and I have plans for you. Go into the town and wait." Saul and his men were speechless. What does speechless mean?
Um,
Speechless. They don't have any words. They don't know what to say. Can they believe it?
uh-huh.
Right? They could hear the voice, but they couldn't see anyone. Saul waved his hand in front of his face. "My eyes, I can't see. Someone get me up," Saul ordered. Because he could not see, Saul's men led him by the hand into Damascus. There Saul waited and prayed. He wasn't mean or bad anymore. God had touched Saul's heart. A man named Ananias was in Damascus. Ananias loved Jesus. God told Ananias to go to Saul and pray so that he might see again. "But Lord," Ananias said, "Saul is a mean man and I'm afraid of him." God said to Ananias, "I have chosen Saul to bring my story to many people. I have a plan for him." Ananias found Saul just as God had said. He prayed for Saul, and Saul was filled with God's Holy Spirit. Suddenly, guess what?
What?
Saul could see again. Ananias told Saul that God had a job for him. Saul was to tell people all about who?
Jesus.
That's right. Saul was baptized and his name was changed to Paul. Paul served God for the rest of his life. He became a friend of Jesus and told many people how God and Jesus had changed his heart. That's a pretty good story, right? So he started off, and was he a good guy? He started off and he was a bad guy, right? He put Christians in jail. He wasn't very nice, but he changed. And that happens to a lot of people in this world. You start off one way and you change into another, right? From experiences you grow, and Saul really grew from a really special experience, right? Right. And now what did he do at the end of the story? He went out and he
Told everybody about Jesus.
That's right. He served God. And that is what our activity is about today, is thinking about ways that we serve God every day in our lives. Right? Okay. So all you need is some paper and crayons. Let's go get our stuff. Okay. So we are talking about different ways to serve God. So, Mary Manning, how do you serve God in your day-to-day? We can't all be just like Saul or Paul, but there are so many things we can do as just regular old people that serve God. What are some things we can do?
We can hug people when they feel sad.
That's very good. That's a good one. You know, make people feel better when they're sad. Another thing would be helping people that are maybe down, on their luck. Going and cleaning out your toys and taking them to a shelter, or making something really special called a blessing bag. Do you know what a blessing bag is?
No.
Okay, so sometimes, when we drive down the road, we see people with signs, and maybe they've come on some hard times, and they don't have a place to sleep, and so these little bags, we can hand them out to people when we see them on the road, and it's just a little pick-me-up. And maybe we can put your picture in there too. So y'all could make these at home. So what we have in here is, what's this?
A toothbrush.
Toothbrush. I always want my teeth to be clean. That would be all really helpful. A mask in case you go in somewhere. Some water.
In case you get thirsty.
That's right.
And some snacks.
Some snacks, some peanut butter crackers, and a fruit and nut mix bar is what we have. So just some healthy snacks. You could also put things like little things of deodorant or soap in there. And that makes somebody who maybe doesn't have all the things that we have at our house have a little comfort, right?
Yeah.
Right? And maybe we'll draw a picture to put inside.
Like mine.
That's right. So y'all go to your local Walgreens or wherever and pick up a few things, put it in a plastic bag and keep it in your car. And when you see somebody on the road, you'll have something special to hand them and make them feel a little bit more at home. And that is a wonderful way to serve God. Right, Meme? All right. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
I'm going to keep on drawing this
Okay.
because I really want.
Andy, oh boy, Paul was blinded by the light.
He sure made a turnaround, didn't he?
Yes. He did a 360.
You mean a 180?
He had been making a big mistake.
Well, Jacob, God has the power to help all of us change. When we make mistakes, we have to be willing to try a new way to treat people and think or stop doing bad behaviors.
Andy, it is hard for me to change. I once tried to give up ice cream, but then I went to the amusement park and started eating it again.
Well, Jacob, that is why we need prayer. It's through prayer that God helps us change our bad habits. This week, maybe you all can write down behaviors you would like to change and then pray about them. Until then, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.